Hey man, when a woman wants control over a man she doesn't truly love, she doesn't always use force, anger, or direct rejection. She uses confusion. She knows that if you're uncertain about where you stand, if you're constantly questioning her words, her actions, her intentions, then she holds the power. Confusion in this sense is her weapon. It keeps you chasing, keeps you investing, keeps you second-guessing yourself. And the brutal truth is, the more uncertain you are about her feelings, the more powerful she feels in the dynamic. Because when a man is confused, he doesn't walk away. He tries harder, he spends more energy trying to figure her out, instead of realizing the game she's playing. She'll confuse you on purpose, because confusion is leverage. One day she's warm, affectionate, and seems all in, and the next she's cold, distant, and detached. One moment, she's telling you how much she cares, and the next she's acting like you don't even exist. That inconsistency isn't accidental, it's a strategy. It keeps you off balance, it makes you question whether you're the problem, and it creates an addiction cycle inside your own mind. The highs feel euphoric because the lows are so crushing. And because you never know which version of her you're gonna get, you keep showing up, hoping for the affectionate version, tolerating the cold one, and slowly eroding your own sense of self-worth. The truth is, when a woman is truly invested in you, she doesn't confuse you, she gives you clarity. Real love is not built on uncertainty, it's built on security. If you're constantly wondering where you stand, if you're endlessly analyzing her mixed signals, then you're not in love, you're in a trap she designed to keep your attention, your energy, your pursuit, while she decides whether or not you're really the man she wants. That's why her confusion feels powerful to her. It puts you in the weaker position, the chasing position, the uncertain position. And until you recognize that confusion is not love but manipulation, you'll always fall victim to the power play she's running on you. Confusion is the silent poison that corrodes a man's strength from the inside out, because it makes him question his own judgment. And that is exactly why women use it. They know that if they can get a man to doubt himself, to doubt what he sees, to doubt what he feels, then they can control the pace of the relationship. Think about it. When you're certain about someone, you act with confidence. You know where you stand, you know what you want, you know how to move forward. But when you're uncertain, when you're stuck in a fog of mixed signals, you hesitate. You wait for clarity from her. You wait for her to validate you. You wait for her to tell you whether you're still wanted. And in that waiting, you lose power. That hesitation is exactly what she thrives on. Because while you're sitting in confusion, she is enjoying the feeling of control. A woman who plays with your mind like this doesn't love you. She loves what she gets from you when you're unsteady. She loves how you keep showing up, trying to fix what isn't broken on your end, but designed by her. She loves how you analyze every word, every text, every look, hoping to decode her feelings. She loves how you cling to the memories of her good side while ignoring the times she tears you down. She loves how she becomes the center of your focus without ever giving you the same clarity in return. It's not about affection, it's about domination. Because if she can keep you addicted to the cycle of hope and disappointment, she knows you'll keep coming back for more. And men don't realize it until too late. Confusion is not an accident. It's her way of staying in control while giving you just enough to keep you chasing. But here's the truth, most men don't want to accept. If you're confused, she already made her decision about you. If she wanted you, you wouldn't be questioning it. If she valued you, she wouldn't be testing your patience with endless games. A woman who truly desires you makes it clear. Her actions align with her words. She doesn't run hot and cold. She doesn't use silence as a weapon. She doesn't pull you close one day and push you away the next. A woman who loves you doesn't need to create chaos to feel powerful. She already feels secure in your presence. The very fact that she's making you doubt yourself is the proof that she's not all in. And the more you tolerate that behavior, the more she realizes she can get away with it, which only fuels her desire to confuse you further. The moment you recognize the pattern is the moment you break free. Stop mistaking mixed signals for love. Stop telling yourself that her coldness means she's busy, or stressed, or complicated. Stop interpreting her inconsistency as anything other than what it is, a deliberate tactic to keep you hooked. The second you see confusion for what it really is, a weapon, not a mistake, you regain your power. Because then you stop chasing answers from her, and you start setting boundaries for yourself. You stop giving your energy to someone who thrives on draining it. You stop being the man who is strung along by uncertainty, and you start being the man who values clarity, peace, and respect over temporary excitement. That's when she truly feels powerless, when her confusion no longer works on you. Confusion is the perfect drug for her, because it doesn't just keep you emotionally hooked, it rewires your mind to crave her approval. Every time she pulls away, you feel the emptiness. Every time she comes close, you feel the high. And that cycle of absence and presence is not random, it's calculated. Even if she doesn't consciously think about it, she intuitively knows that men cannot stand inconsistency in love. Men are builders by nature. We want foundation, we want structure, we want to know where we stand so we can lead forward. Women, on the other hand, live in the emotion of the moment. They understand that if they give you too much certainty too soon, your masculine nature will settle and you will stop chasing. So they engineer a state of uncertainty. They keep you chasing clarity, chasing answers, chasing them while they sit back and enjoy the luxury of power without having to give their full commitment. This is why you'll often see her say things that contradict themselves. She'll tell you she likes you, but her actions won't back it up. She'll claim she's not ready for anything serious, yet still demand your loyalty. She'll disappear for days, then come back with warmth as if nothing happened. She'll playfully test you, withdraw affection at random, or flirt with other men just enough to make you wonder if you're being replaced. And each of these moments plants seeds of doubt in your mind. But here's the deeper game. You don't even notice how much of your mental energy she consumes. You go to bed thinking about what she meant. You wake up replaying her tone. You reread her messages. You imagine scenarios where you misread her actions. You live in analysis mode, while she lives in control. That's why confusion is her power. It's not what she says or does, it's how it makes you question yourself. The longer you stay in this trap, the more you begin to compromise your own standards. At first, you might demand respect. You might call her out on her inconsistencies, but when her confusion keeps coming, you stop confronting it and start rationalizing it. You tell yourself, she's different, she's complicated, she just needs time. You think patience will win her over. You think proving yourself through loyalty will make her see your value. But all you're doing is lowering your own bar while raising hers. You're teaching her that she can confuse you, play with you, keep you on a leash, and you'll still stick around waiting for her to eventually give you what you deserve. But let me be brutally honest here. Once she realizes you'll tolerate her confusion, she will never give you clarity. Why would she? She already has what she wants: your attention, your devotion, your time, your energy. And this is where most men get destroyed. They keep thinking the solution is to try harder. They think the way to cure her confusion is through more texts, more calls, more reassurance, more effort. They think if they can just explain themselves better, be more patient, be more understanding, then she will stop confusing them and start loving them clearly. But they don't see that the confusion is not a problem to be fixed. It's the game itself. The more effort you pour into fixing it, the deeper you fall into her design. Because every time you seek clarity from her, you're proving to her that she holds the upper hand, and she thrives on that. She thrives on knowing that you're always trying to figure her out, while she never lifts a finger to figure you out. That imbalance is what keeps her feeling powerful. The only way out of this is brutal self-respect. You have to stop chasing answers from a woman who feeds you confusion. You have to stop begging for consistency from someone who deliberately chooses inconsistency. You have to stop seeking love where only control exists. Because the truth is simple. If she wanted you, you would know. If she valued you, she would show it. If she respected you, she wouldn't play with your mind. A woman who confuses you is showing you her truth. She doesn't love you. She loves what she gets from you. And the second you accept that, the second you stop trying to decode her mixed signals, is the second you set yourself free. What most men fail to realize is that confusion is not just a weapon, it's a mirror. It reflects back to you how much control over yourself you actually have. Because if you were truly grounded, if you were truly unshakable in your own frame, her mixed signals wouldn't move you. Her silence wouldn't make you insecure. Her little games wouldn't stir up anxiety. Instead, you'd watch it, see it for what it is, and detach. But the very fact that it consumes you, that it keeps you overthinking, that it makes you feel the need to act, shows how much power she really has. And that's why women love to create confusion. It tests where your strength begins and ends. If you break under it, she knows you're not the man she respects. If you stay calm and detached, she'll either fall in line or disappear. But either way, you remain untouched. That's the masculine position she secretly craves, but very few men can hold. Understand this. When she confuses you, she isn't necessarily trying to destroy you. She's trying to measure you. She's trying to see if you're as solid as you claim, if you're as unshakable as you present yourself. Because every woman knows that words are cheap. You can tell her you're confident. You can tell her you're masculine. You can tell her you're not like other men. But in the heat of her chaos, the truth comes out. If you fold, if you chase, if you demand clarity, you're proving you're just like the rest. But if you remain composed, if you act as though her chaos doesn't even scratch your armor, she feels it. She feels the difference between a boy who bends and a man who leads. And even if she never admits it, that's when she starts respecting you. That's when she starts fearing to lose you. That's when her power game begins to crumble. But here's the trap. You can't fake it. You can't just pretend to be unbothered while secretly obsessing in your head, because she'll feel that energy. Women have a sixth sense when it comes to sensing male desperation. You can smile. You can stay silent. You can act like you don't care. But if deep inside you're still chasing her with your thoughts, she'll know. And that's why so many men fail. They try to play the nonchalant role without actually embodying it. They're still burning up inside, still overthinking, still giving her power in silence. And that's why the key isn't just behavior, it's transformation. You have to actually build yourself to the point where her games truly don't matter, where your self-respect, your purpose, your masculine frame is so strong that her confusion doesn't dent your clarity. Because when you're truly solid, her manipulation becomes transparent, almost laughable. You see it, and instead of chasing answers, you simply step away. That's the shift every man has to make. Stop playing her game and start living yours. Stop trying to win in her world of emotional chaos and start creating your own world of purpose, direction, and self-control. Because once you anchor yourself there, her games lose power. She can pull away, she can test, she can confuse, but it won't move you. And when she sees that, she only has two choices. Either she respects you enough to drop the games, or she walks away to find another man who will dance for her confusion. Either outcome is a win for you. Because if she chooses respect, you get a genuine connection. If she chooses to leave, you just saved yourself years of wasted energy. The real loss is not her. It's you abandoning yourself in the process of trying to please her. That's what destroys men. That's what leaves them broken, bitter, and empty. And here's the hardest truth. You can't stop women from trying to confuse you. It's part of their instinct, part of their nature, part of the way they test the strength of men. What you can stop is giving it power over you. What you can stop is bending yourself out of shape. Every time she withholds affection, every time she acts distant, every time she throws contradictions your way. Because the man who learns to live without chasing answers is the man who wins. He doesn't need to control her. He doesn't need to decode her. He doesn't need to make her stop. He just refuses to bow to it. And that's the exact moment when everything changes. That's when she realizes her confusion no longer works. That's when she starts to wonder about you. That's when the roles reverse. And suddenly, she's the one who feels uncertain. She's the one who feels the loss of control. She's the one chasing clarity from you. And this is where the true paradox lies, brother. When you no longer need her, when you no longer care about her confusion, when you no longer beg for certainty, she suddenly finds herself in the very position she once placed you in. Think about that for a moment. She once thrived on keeping you guessing. She once enjoyed holding the power of ambiguity. She once smiled when your mind was burning with, does she really like me? Why did she say this, but do that? What does her silence mean? But now, when you step away from the chaos, when you give her nothing to feed on, she begins to ask those same questions about you. She wonders, why hasn't he asked? Why hasn't he chased? Why isn't he breaking under the pressure like every other man does? And in that very moment, the hunter becomes the hunted, the controller becomes the controlled, and the one who was playing games now feels powerless. That is the irony of female psychology. It feeds on weakness, but it also craves strength. And when you embody that strength, she no longer feels in control. She feels magnetized. But here's the deeper truth you must burn into your soul. Women don't play these games because they are evil. They play them because they are wired to do so. Confusion is their way of measuring a man's emotional stability. If you break, she knows you were never truly strong to begin with. If you remain composed, she feels both frustrated and attracted at the same time. It's instinctual, it's nature, it's how women have filtered men for generations. The problem is not her games, the problem is men walking straight into the trap without the self-mastery to resist it. That's why the modern man suffers so much, because he was raised to believe love is about constant reassurance, about fixing every moment of doubt, about talking endlessly about feelings. But the more you do that, the weaker you appear. the more you try to untangle her confusion, the deeper you sink into it, and what you thought would bring closeness only drives her farther away. The man who wins is the man who no longer plays. He doesn't try to untangle her mixed signals. He doesn't waste hours replaying conversations in his head. He doesn't get stuck trying to prove his worth every time she acts distant. Instead, he understands that silence is an answer. Distance is an answer. Confusion is an answer. He doesn't beg for more words. He accepts what is already in front of him. And because of that, he maintains clarity while she spins in her own contradictions. He doesn't chase answers. He provides them with his actions. He doesn't demand respect. He commands it by living in truth. He doesn't argue for his value. He embodies it without words. This is what makes women unsettled. This is what makes them drop the games. This is what makes them realize they can't control you like they can control everyone else. And that realization either humbles them into choosing you honestly, or it scares them away forever. Either way, you win. The danger comes when you try to outplay her in her own game. Many men, after learning about female psychology, try to flip the script and play games back. They try to confuse her, ignore her intentionally, manipulate her feelings, create the same uncertainty she creates. But let me warn you, this is not strength. This is weakness disguised as strategy, because the moment you try to manipulate her back, you're still controlled by her. You're still revolving around her. You're still burning your energy to respond to what she does. That's not leadership, that's reaction. And women feel it. They can tell when a man is acting versus when he is simply being. A man who is truly solid doesn't need to play games because he already knows the truth. If she respects him, she won't need to manipulate him. If she doesn't respect him, no amount of playing her game will change that. That's the level of detachment you must reach. And so the only real path is radical self-mastery. You have to get to a point where your value is so deeply rooted in who you are, in what you do, in the way you live, that her games barely register in your mind. Where you don't just act like you don't care, you actually don't care. Where your silence is not a tactic, it's a natural response to nonsense. Where your lack of chasing is not an effort, it's simply who you are. Because when a woman feels that authenticity, she can't touch it, she can't control it, she can't manipulate it. And that's when the power dynamic shifts completely. That's when she realizes she either has to show up honestly or risk losing you forever. And whether she stays or goes, your peace remains intact. That, my brother, is what it truly means to win in the face of female confusion.